Hi, this is Paula Lynn. Welcome to my channel. Thank you for joining me. Today I am sharing the finished junk journal that I made from the maps kit that I got from Susan Taylor Brown from her Etsy store, Poppiness. I was overjoyed at being selected as one of Susan's guest design team members for August 2019, and as you would have seen in my earlier video, selected the maps kit as well as one of her phrase kits, and I wanted to show you the finished album or junk journal now that it is all made. I originally planned to make a junk journal using recycled paper bags. In New Zealand here, the government has banned single-use plastic bags, so all supermarkets of course are therefore going to brown paper bags or the equivalent that can be recycled and are better for the environment. So now instead of having a couple of hundred plastic bags sitting around, I have a couple of hundred brown paper bags. So I wanted to experiment and see what I could make out of it, and so that was where the plan started, with some, I think it was 2 paper bags that I cut up into 4 or 6 pieces each, no, 8 pieces each bag. So it was going to be a small album, or junk journal I should say, but it has ended up being a little bit bigger than I thought. So this is, if I turn the ruler around the right way, 6 inches by 9.5, and it's 3 inches deep. Yeah, the original plan was not 3 inches deep. But anyway, there was just too much yumminess not to put in, so I made the spine to fit. Oh, whoops, and I should have shown you. So, 8 signatures. They've all been sewn in using black and brown thread, and then I've included beads. And these are wooden beads that I picked up cheap from local Spotlight, and then I've got a few charms on the bottom there, and they were from I picked these particular colours because they look like the ones that Jack Sparrow had on his tricorn hat, that any good pirate would have, so they look like his. So I'm going to try and do a reasonably quick flick through, because otherwise you'll be here forever looking at what I've done. But before I do open it, I just wanted to show you what I made the cover out of, because it's made of recycled cereal boxes, and I covered it in the scrapbook paper. Now this is some that I've had forever. It's from College Press. To be honest, I don't even know if they're still around. It's from the Camden collection. It's double take, so it's got the map of United States, Canada, Mexico, and on the back there's some flowers. So you don't see the flowers at all in here, but it started off as that, and then I covered it in distress stain using vintage photo, walnut stain, and espresso, and just streak that all over, all keeping in one direction, and it's kind of given a streaky, almost like a wood grain or leather type of look, and that's what I was going for. And then just around each of the edges I used some walnut stain distress ink and just emphasised the edges to make it look a little bit more worn and used, where it had discoloured a wee bit more from all the hands, you know, constantly flipping over the junk journal. The theme of the journal, if you haven't already gathered, is a pirate. So it's like a pirate's journal that the captain of the ship would have, and then he'd pass on as to the next captain, or would sort of go with the ship. So it's got some interesting information, all sort of relevant to the pirate. Some of it's a little bit more modern than when pirates would have been around, but hopefully it's all kind of relevant. Now inside the front and back cover is one of the maps from Susan's map kit. It was, to be honest, I just absolutely love this, and I didn't want to cut it up. So all I've done is trim around the edges, because Susan's pages are in a 8.5 by 11, and I printed it out on A4, so I had a very fine edge around it, and then I've just split it in half so there's half on the front, half on the back. And then throughout I have just added a whole lot of pirate themed either memorabilia or images that I've found through Google, and just they seem so relevant that I've just included them. So a lot of like pirate themed sayings, a lot of talk about rum, I have to admit, so yeah, it's not children's album, shall we say. These one of the shopping bags. Essentially I just cut the bags in half vertically, so that would have been folded in, and that's sort of like half the width of the bag, and then trimmed it so it was like double height, and then took the bottom off, and that's essentially the paper bag. Some of them are cut, most of them I actually did with a knife, just slice them up, so they are rough and designed that way. It's not that my cutting is that atrocious. So another one of the maps from Susan. And you'll see in the earlier video I would have posted, making all these envelopes. There's some of the tags I made to fit in them. I've got some charms. And I've included a little bit of black lace. I thought that's more sort of masculine, more piratey. So it seemed more appropriate than using white lace. And you'll see there's pictures from a book here, and that was actually the Buccaneers, and it's a book from the television series, which to be honest was before my time, but it did star Robert Shaw. Anyone who might recognise him, he is most famous and probably best known for being the captain of the orca in the Jaws movie. So Robert Shaw, looking rather dapper then, I must say, as a buccaneer or a pirate, but he's made it into here just because it was so cool to actually find a whole lot of like pirate images. And you've got, most of them are in black and white, but there are also some coloured images from the television program. So I've got tea and coffee dyed papers. Some of it is just plain copier paper. I've also got gridded, as well as ledger paper. Included a whole heap of journal cards. All the backs are blank so that there's plenty of space for writing on, and made pockets out of a whole lot of different items and things that I've printed out. I think just about, yeah, probably the centre of every signature, and there's 8 signatures if I haven't already said that, is one of the book pages, particularly where it was a really cool image, and especially some of the large images of pirates, just because it looks so awesome, to be honest. And you can see there 10 and 6 was the original cost of the book, so yeah, definitely before my time. Made a whole lot of paper clips just out of some of the images that I've got. We've got fold ups, and then all sorts of things. We've got bits stuck on the back of paper clips, images tucked in just to show where pockets are. We've got grid. This is one of the little wee pockets that I made from Susan's papers, Mac's papers, and I've just included a couple of little wee items in there so they can either be left in or distributed throughout the album. And then of course just held in place with paper clips. Some of the black lace and a sword charm, very pirate code, just distressed around the edges with ink. I am the reason the rum is all gone. There's a lot of rum and alcohol and drinking in here because that's what pirates are known for. A lot of skull and bones and crossbones and all sorts of things as well. Drinking rum before noon makes you a pirate, not an alcoholic. Another one of the large envelopes, held in place and with little tags. And I tried to coordinate the paper clips. This is one of the my favourite images that I found. Pirate wench, I'm sure every good captain would have had some image of a beautiful woman somewhere in his stash or pocket or in his room so that he could eye her up at night. Let's not go any further on that, that thought. And of course, a little image of his pirate booty that he's got. Also included some sheet music just for something different. Now, for my husband's 50th birthday in 2017, I threw him a surprise pirate party. That was the theme of his party. So I kept all the packaging from a lot of the props and costume bits that I kept. So I've sprinkled those throughout in a whole lot of different places just because they were so cool and I had so much fun pulling everything together. Found pictures of like ships from the era because that's the sort of thing that I figured that a pirate would have in his information or about his person, so they knew what sort of ships they were chasing. Of course, the Kraken, you can't get much more piratey than that. Picture of some mermaids with a ship. It's framing a ship. It's the kind of thing that I thought would be, I printed it on like a cardboard so I could, you know, maybe colour it in coloured pencils or something like that, just for something different to include. Little wee tuck spots, again just made out of prints of ships. Lots of journaling cards. Images that I just found, thought looked really cool, very piratey. To err is human, to R is pirate. Yeah, that kind of says a lot about my warped sense of humour, really. Another one of the labels sticker set that I've had from years ago, particularly handsome looking fellow there. And I've got charms throughout that sort of go on with the theme, like skull and crossbones. There's swords and keys and all sorts of things. Golden age of pirates, talking about what some of the pirates were renowned to have collected. Another one of the envelopes. It's made from Susan's papers that she made. And of course got a journaling card inside it. A good old Jolly Roger pirate flag. And then of course a smaller version as well on the paper clip to hold it into place. All these images I've printed out as large as like journaling card size, but then also did a small one as well. Another one of the envelopes I made from Susan's maps with a little wee charm of a Jolly Roger. Tuck spots. Pictures of ships. This is something that I made from one of Susan's maps. Book paper. In the middle is just white cheap cardstock, and then of course part of the map there. And tuck that into a little wee pocket I've made out of one of those flaps from the grocery bag. Absolutely love this image. It's a skull with tentacles through it, so I couldn't resist putting that in. And again, it's another one of those images that I might end up colouring in. Image that's just a whole lot of different knots printed onto white paper, and then I've just coloured it with distress ink around the edge, but I've also brought that into the middle as well, just to get rid of the pure white like colour that it had. Another one of Susan's images. So yeah, just got a lot of like interesting things. Flip up, so there's heaps of journaling space. It's a Kraken rum. image there. Keep calm and drink rum. That's another one of the little pockets. And this is one of the tags that came on one of the pirate like daggers or different props that I bought. And then I used just some of the scraps left over from the maps, for instance, from cutting out these pockets, just to cover the back of it for a bit more interest. And they fit perfectly into the smaller pockets. Only the devil and I know the whereabouts of me treasure, and the one of us who lives the longest should take it all. Edward Blackbeard teach. And then I've just plaited up some hemp string for a little bit of decoration there. Something different. The life ring. More tucks. I haven't filled up the tuck. I mean, I could put a lot more into these tuck spots, but to be honest, it was getting to be that big already that I didn't want to risk putting too much more into envelopes or pockets and turning it into an alligator mouth. But there's, I mean, you can take everything out and switch it around or put into something else to your heart's content, to be honest. How to look like a real pirate. Yeah, body lice, pistols, peg leg. Had to include that. Some more images from the books. This was one that I've just made up by putting a pirate's head on top of a skull and crossbones, and that's holding the little wee envelope in place. I've got fold outs that go in all sorts of directions, just to give a bit more space. And again, used up every kind of little scrap that I could from Susan's maps, because they were just so amazing and lovely and bright and colourful. So I just wanted to use them. Another pocket and tag. Fold out image. A lot of flip ups. Bits of everything, left, right and centre. I liked being able to find tags that I could cut into different sizes as well. And in here is, I found this on a Disney page. It's from the Pirates of Caribbean on Stranger Tides, and goes through different pirate phrases and words. And the image, when I printed it out, had a torn edge, so I actually physically went and tore that off because the white little bit looked strange, and it had like fold lines on it, so I folded it, increased them with my bone folder, and then emphasised those with inks, so it looks like a page that a pirate might have been carrying around in his pocket for ages, or had certainly had him for many years, rather than just looking like something that was new and pristine. And then I've tucked that into a little wee secret pocket on the side of a page, and held it in because it is quite bulky, all folded up. Prepare to be boarded. So lots of little wee hidden spots. Another one of the envelopes I made. Davy Jones. Pirate Code according to Jack Sparrow. Couldn't not have Jack in it. And some more of the hemp. Images. More tuck spots. Another one of the envelopes. There's a second one of that with the, it's also another dagger. I bought two different daggers. Time flies when you're having rum. It's another one of the images from the packaging that I had. Finally getting on to the last one, last signature. So there are 2 228 from memory pages. Always be yourself. Unless you can be a pirate, then always be a pirate. And the final large journaling card that I made with the book pages on the back. And just to finish off, pirate superstitions. So that is the journal in its glory with all its bits and pieces. Much bigger than I expected to make, but I absolutely love it. I was going to sell it, but after the discussion that's been going on lately regarding copyright and sale of items where you've got images in it that you haven't created yourself, I've decided to hold on to it for myself, or I may end up giving it as a gift to someone in my family. But certainly I absolutely loved it. I loved the putting it all together, stitching it together, finding all the bits and pieces for it. I hope you enjoyed it. Looking at the junk journal, my thanks go out to Susan Taylor Brown and her Etsy shop Poppiness for again including me as one of her August design team members. I absolutely loved the kit that I got and have used in here, the maps kit. I will put a link to Susan's Etsy store and her YouTube channel, because she is going to have a link for all the design team projects that people make on her YouTube channel. So thank you for sitting through me sharing this with you. Be sure to subscribe, hit the bell for notifications for the next time I put up a video. There are going to be a whole lot coming in. I've had my thinking cap on, but as well we'll be sharing some more projects that I create along the way. So once again, thank you. Look forward to chatting with you again and sharing some more of my creations. So take care for now. Bye.